Oh, hold on. Start with that. Hey guys, how's it going? It has been a while since my last stream. I think it was sometime last December. So, yeah, I once I finished Unicone and all of that, I kind of wanted to take a break until I got my real machine. And then once I got my real machine, I ended up in the middle of moving, yada 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 yada, and all of that. So, but I'm back, and I'm going to use this session today to talk about what I have been working on and what I'm working on next. And yeah, so looks like my volume should be good, I hope. Excuse me. So let's go ahead and I'll get started talking about what I'm doing. Well, you know, it does not quite ready to show code yet, I guess. My primary project right now is working on Mega Kitty Goes Bonkers. That is the Mega Kitty based infinite runner. Basically this is the third of what I've called the low-hanging fruit games. Yeah, hey Leiden, good to see you. You're getting sound, aren't you? There should be music and voice and basically I'm not ready to switch over to the code yet because I wanted to talk about some other things, but I can certainly show my desktop, I guess. And although then I have to tab back and forth, but that's all right. Are you not getting? Come on. So the infinite zoom thing going on here. I don't have my second screen to keep the controls for OBS on. Not that big a deal, but anyhow. So I'm working on Mega Kitty Goes Bonkers. That's the infinite runner, and the goal from there will be that I can then reuse a lot of that code to make the full-blown platformer. And I know that some of you have seen it already, but I'll pop it up here real quick. The mock-up of the game. It should be in here. Oh, there it is. There we go. So yeah, that is the mock-up of what the backdrop is going to look like. There's also going to be things on shelves that you can knock over and get bonus points, and you can see that you can travel between floors at these things. Now, I mentioned it already on the Discord. I did not draw these graphics myself. These I licensed using patron support. Thank you guys for that. And I got to tell you, the guy undervalues his work though, because the tile set was like $5, and I really like it. So, yeah. Right now, I am not very far into it. What I have so far is basically getting the program set up, and the next task will be to start just drawing basic walls on the screen. But you can see here that I am using my port of Mirage's IFFL system to Calypsy. And what I've done, and I will show this in just a minute, but more of this in a minute. Ah, yeah. Hey, no brew. Um, so what I'm doing, I've created a kind of an API for setup after some. Basically, what I want to be able to do is I'm going to create a as part of Trolley, my cross development tool. One of the things you'll be able to do is configure your setup, and it will. Right now, I'm hand coding it. It's going to basically look like this, where it's essentially an address and a value, and I don't remember the exact amount, but it's actually, I found for how complicated the setups are that this can be cheaper. And then a couple of special commands. Right now, I flag them. If the first byte is a 1, then the second byte is the command. Since, oh, dang it. Sorry. Let me get the mouse out of the way. So it's, sorry guys, I lost track of my train of thought. So the point of this, though, is that then you'll see, where is it? Here it is. Here's the code itself. It's really, really basic for the most part. I'm just grabbing the values, putting them into a 0-page location, and I am using some self-modifying code here that is maybe just a little bit lazy, but it's working well enough, and setup doesn't have to be super fast. The only reason it's in assembly was because I wrote it for Acme first, and then I've ported it to Calypsy. So yeah, the inner loop just does this little bit here, and then we get into some quick command interpretation. Now, one thing I am thinking about doing for the commands is, like, you see, let me get over to the data again. You see how I'm thinking about, hold on, let me show this again, sorry. I'm thinking about also adding in a command just in case somebody has any need to write into the stack, but I haven't needed it yet, so... great. Good, glad to hear it, Leiden. Sorry, Ludo? I Ludo. Something, I'm sorry if I'm murdering the pronunciation, but... anyhow, so part of the goal with this setup stuff that I'm doing here is so that the cross-platform tool I'm using, and I will release it, of course, to, for creating setups and stuff, will be aware of things like default values. And the other thing that I want to add into it is being able to actually create just a chunk of memory that is all of what the default registers should be, so that it can just be DMA'd directly into the registers, so that when a program starts up, we can be certain that the no previous state pollutes our expectations, because that has certainly been a problem in the past. So that's the goal here. Right now, I'm just doing this because it was the first step for me. And it's kind of funny over here. You can see this is the line that I have to do to call it, and what I'm doing is basically this setup that you see here loads in at 1,000 hexadecimal. And again, you got the, oh, that's not the right one, is it? Sorry. Here it is. This is the one that I'm using for this game. But anyhow, the first thing it has is a table so that it can have multiple setups and just basically pointers. And that's what I'm doing over here is it's a pointer to the very beginning of it is an array of shorts. So I'm casting it to that and then grabbing the first entry, which there's only one for now, but there can be more later, and then casting it back to a pointer of type char. It's a really ugly line of code. It can do hold on, let me see here. I think I haven't done it yet, but the long-term essentially I'm not trying to set just simple bits anymore, because then we still run into a problem of sorry, I lost my train of thought again. Run into the problem of we might have weird defaults in the others. So, like, do I touch 254? I don't think I... Oh, yeah, I do. Yeah. Yeah, you can see I'm doing it right there. So it's not intended to flip explicit bits, because, like I said, I want to make sure that the entire value is what the developer expects. There is obviously going to come a point where I'll need more commands than what I've got, because like PAL and NTSC switching I'm not doing in here, because that requires a little bit more logic than a canned setup can. Yeah. Well, that is a problem. Yeah. For writing, it's something that clearly will need to be solved. Let's see here. I find myself wondering how often we want to write full values and how often we might want to write bits, because it wouldn't be hard to add in a new command that can do bits rather than entire bytes. That would be pretty trivial. So yeah, thank you. That is something that I will work into it, the setup thing, before I release the code to the public. Yeah. And I'm thinking that, like, for the full DMA block idea, where I set all the registers, what I may do is just make it aware of bits that should be saved and putting them back over it at the end, maybe. I don't know for sure. It's still a relatively early version of it, so yeah, there are definitely things that need to be sorted out. So let's see here. the I then finish loading the rest of the data. Um, I don't think we need to go over the setup too much longer. And the next step is, as I said, I'm going to start drawing and scrolling some basic walls. I'm not going to do this right now because, like I said, this is mostly just going over what's going on. So this is my main project. This is going to be the next game. This is going to be like this. And but at the same time, I will also be working on Megastep, the music tool. That is going to take a bit longer, but I intend to support all of the audio devices that the Mega65 has, and as well as multiple different ways of having the replayer. So basically, it will do a VIC timed replayer if you really want that, but I'm also going to create a CIA timed replayer, which will have MIDI standard resolutions. That means that we're going to be able to get really, really fine detail. And then Gertchi and I came up with, I think it was mostly his idea. But anyhow, it's also going to include the capacity to compose and your DAW and then export for use in BASIC. So those are the three types of playback that I intend to use for Megastep. I guess Megastep is derived from SID Step 2, for those of you that didn't know, which is a VST that you can use in a modern DAW so that you can compose for the SID chips, and then at the end it can capture what you did and export it for use on a real device. That is how I've made all of the music that I've made for the Mega65. And so this tool is going to borrow a lot of what I did, while at the same time making it a lot less fiddly. I think the number one complaint that I have, plus anybody that ever tried to use it with SID Step 2, is that you're still selecting your instruments manually so you have to do fiddly bits in your piano roll, your MIDI file, that changes the instrument selection manually. And whereas with Megastep, what instead I'm going to do is it'll be one channel per instrument, and it will you can set priorities for the more important bits, and it will just automatically figure out how to pack it so that you don't have to pack it by hand, because that's a pain in the butt. That is such a pain. So that's going to be the secondary project. I still really only have a Windows build environment at this time, and also only use DAWs in Windows. So if somebody wants it on a different platform, they'll probably need to compile it themselves, but it will be open source, so that shouldn't be that hard. And if somebody wants to work with me on it, I would love to get it sorted out. It's just something that I would need help with, because especially with the Mac, I am not set up to build on a Mac at all for anything. So yeah, and I definitely don't have a way to test it in any DAWs there. So especially if one of the huge plethora of composers that we have in the community as a Mac user and would like to work with me on this, that would be great. Let's see here. Other than that, I briefly mentioned Trolley. I will mention it a little bit more. In addition to the part that helps with the setup stuff, I'm also going to have an RRB screen builder that will estimate, possibly with great accuracy, depending upon whether or not that list of RRB timing is accurate that's out on files. But assuming that it is, it will estimate the cycles that your RRB will use, and will also be able to say, oh, you're going over the limit. This isn't going to work. Stuff like that. And there was one other piece. What was the other piece, though? Sorry, guys. It's been so long since I've really planned that specific part. But there are going to be other useful things, tools, bits of Trolley. Basically, the things that I'm going to develop to make it easier for me to create games and demos. This will, of course, include also some Mega65 code, like I am planning on a general purpose RRB engine. Not a full game engine, just going to be a way to have easy references to your Pixie pointers and stuff like that. Obviously, you've already seen some of the setup on the Mega65 side. The tool I will build in Godot because I want it to be cross-platform. So that seems to make more sense than doing something quickly. So that is what I'm going to be working on. I suspect you'll probably see more from Mega Kitty Goes Bonkers for quite a while. Especially with regard to Mega Step, I'm going to start working on it, but I want to kind of have the replayers being developed in sync. And if I'm going to, basically, I need a working OPL before I can really get very far with the OPL part, but I want to be working on it in an incremental way where relative parts in samples or on the SID or on the OPL, like whether it's playing a sound effect or whether it's playing whatever, I want to be working on them in parallel so that hopefully my engineering will be good, since I'm basically going to be improvising the engineering for the most part. I know that the OPL stuff isn't really. Thank you. Yeah. I know that the OPL stuff is not currently being worked on. I believe it was either Bitoshi or Kaibo. I don't remember which, but one of them got it to where it was making wrong noise, which was a huge improvement. So it's possible that when I get to that point with Mega Step, I will see if I can learn enough FPGA VHDL to try and carry on with getting the OPL chip working. And hopefully Bobby's SID changes come to fruition soon, and we can use that. It's gonna be a lot of fun, and I hope, well, because of the fact that I'll be able to communicate, through the live stream here. I will be able to be more responsive to what other people are wanting to do with the things that I'm doing, especially when it comes to Mega Step, because the first one I am, or Sid Step 2, I am literally the only person that uses it. It's not actually that hard to use, but certain bits are particularly fiddly. Um, so, yeah. Whew. I think that's everything I can think of. And I'd really like to thank everybody that joined me. Lyden, Ludo, No Brew, and then I believe who else didn't we see one of? No, okay. It was really helpful to have some feedback, especially about the things that you guys have discovered while working on the PAL EMU flags and stuff like that. Or whatever other flags. That is definitely, in fact, your input in particular would be much appreciated on the setup stuff. Oh, thank you, Kibo. Sorry, it's been a while, so I'm losing train of thought a lot. Oh, right. Because you are a really good source for what the defaults should actually be. I do know somebody is working on documenting all of the default values, and that will really help with the creation of the tool side of it. That's part of why I haven't put a lot of effort into that yet for the setup tool. Yeah. So, alrighty, let me see here. Where is it? Is it still open? Okay, so we're kind of at the tail end here. Again, I appreciate all of you, and I especially want to thank my patrons, which Gertchie, Professor Falcon, and Sparehead. You guys have helped contribute to the efforts that are being made. It has been really, really helpful. Anybody else that wants to contribute, as you see, I'm using it directly for creating cool things in the future, as well as, quite frankly, it helping out some. So yeah, head on over to Patreon and use that link on the screen there if you'd like to help me out and support future developments. Oh, hey, T-Dev. Alright, so, the other thing, basically, I needed to get back on the horse. I was procrastinating about streaming, because, I'm an intro... Oh, nope, do not. I don't want that. I'm an introvert by nature, so I kind of have to kick myself in the butt to do these. So again, thank you guys so much, and we will see you next time. Alright, I'm gonna let the song finish though, because, you can't play a Parallax remix, just part of it. You have to let the whole thing play through. Thank you very much, No Brew, and everybody else. We will see you in the Discord, of course.